Sidians? It's your boy, the Blackest Obsidian. Remember to go follow my Instagram and my Twitter at the Blackest OB. Remember, go down, subscribe, like if you haven't already. Share the videos. Show your boy some love. Today, I'm actually going to teach y'all how to effectively train your EVs and how you get your IVs on your Pokemon to make it competitive. Basically, I'm giving you an open guide on how to make any Pokemon you want competitive. It's just based off how you feel. You can pick up your favorite mons. It used to didn't be this easy, but Sword and Shield actually made it this easy. So, best thing I'm gonna do for y'all is where this game starts with. It starts with money, not actual cash, in-game currency. So go down in the description. There's gonna be a link to my last video, and it's how to get quick money on Pokemon Sword and Shield. Go check out that video right now before continuing this, and then pick up on this. But for right now, let's get to it. So first thing you want to do is, the best way to understand what competitive battling is knowing your EVs and your IVs. And the only way to really explain that is actually showing y'all. So what EVs are, is your EVs is the effort value of your Pokemon. So if you notice when you're going through your summary screen on a Pokemon, you'll get to this, where it shows the ability, Dynamax level, and its different stats. These stats right here are how strong or how good your Pokemon actually is in a certain stat. Best thing you want to do is if you go and you press X on your Joy-Con, you will see an overview. This out view here is basically your EVs. So if you can check it, you see my Pokemon. All my Pokemon have EVs in a certain stat. They're not spread out kind of willy-nilly. Most Pokemon that you just go through the game with, their kind of stats are just branched around because every time you beat a Pokemon, that Pokemon hands out EVs. So it used to be the way the EV train a Pokemon used to be, you had to go out in the wild, you had to knock out so many Pokemon because each Pokemon hands out a certain EV and a stat. Like for example, if you go out and you wanted to EV train a Pokemon in speed, you had to go beat 252 Pikachus. Any Pokemon that you knocked out besides that still handed you an EV. And it kind of made it harder with the experience share because the experience share actually spreads those EVs out. But with Pokemon Sword and Shield coming into effect, to be able to get this, what you see on my screen, it's much easier now. So first thing you want to do when it comes to EVs is you want to go and you would go to Wimbledon. So this is where the Pokemon League Championship, everything else was handled. It's basically at towards the end of the game. You walk inside the Pokemon Center. You want to talk to this guy right here. So when you talk to this guy has every item you need to EV train your Pokemon. It has an HP, Protein, Iron, Special Attack, Special Defense, and Carbos. So HP up, it boosts the EV stats of your HP. Proteins, your attack. Iron, your defense. Calcium, your special attack. Zinc, your special defense. And Carbos, your speed. So in the game, it used to be you could only use 10 of these, and each one will only give 10 stat, and it will give it 10 stats. So, for example, games previous to this, you can only use 10 protein to a Pokemon, which would only give it the equivalent of 10 EV effort or 10 EV values to that Pokemon stats. This game's a little different because now you can do 26. And max out the Pokemon's EVs without actually having to EV train them. The old method to EV training is complicated, so I'm not really going to get into it. Some people still use it because there are some Pokemon that are just good in 3 stats because there's only 512 EVs you can give to one individual Pokemon. So you can maximize 2 stats at 252 and you can maximize 1 stat at like 8. I think if the math's right. It's like 8 or 6. So basically, for example, you want to take a Pokemon, and I have one that I actually have on me, and today we're going to use Galarian Rapidash. I have one called Rainbow Dash, so y'all don't judge me. So basically what y'all want to do is you want to go to them and you want to buy the items that you need. So, for example, you really want to base it off of what the Pokemon's good at. Me, I personally use the website Smog. Smog gives you an overlay and an outlook of how a Pokemon's stats are based up, and it kind of gives you a moveset to go by that most competitive players use. You can also base it off of the base stats. So, for example, Rapidash, because it's not just going to be a Ponyta, it's going to be a Rapidash by the end of it. Your Rapidash is going to be a physical attacker, high speed, and I think it has moderate special defense. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy 26 proteins. We're gonna buy 26 carbos, but I have 25 in my bag already, so I'm only gonna buy one. And you're gonna buy a zinc. So that's gonna give it that special defense. That's gonna basically top off its special defense value. So then you wanna go to your Pokemon. Oh, you wanna go to bag. My fault. That was a mess up. You wanna go to your bag. You want to go to your other items. Me, I sort everything so everything's just right there when I need it. So you want to hit protein. You want to go over to your Pokemon. You want to give it 26. You want to do your max ones first. Because if you don't, it won't maximize your special. So whatever you're giving 250 chew to, so whatever you're giving 26 base stats to, is what you want to give first. So 26 carbos, 26 iron, and then you want to give it the last thing. So since we have one zinc, we're going to give it one zinc. So now if you look at the Pokemon, and you look at its effort values, they're more spread out to where you want them. But that's not the only thing. That's not just going to make it competitive, because it's just like, okay, now I have my EVs, right? You can't just go into a battle with... You can go into a battle with good EVs, but you can't go into a battle with efficient. So what you really want to do now is you want to check the Pokemon's IVs. In reality, you would start with IVs first, because your IVs are probably going to be the hardest thing to get. But with Sword and Shield, it kind of made it easier. So what you want to do is you want to take your Pokemon. Let's say... Rapidash. We're not gonna do. So we're gonna go to your box. You wanna go to your box and you wanna overlay your box. For those of you who's done Battle Tower and who's beaten Leon in the first section of the single battles, you've unlocked the Judge Checker. So if you unlock the Judge Checker, you'll be able to check this. So what IVs are is IVs are individual values of a Pokemon that they're born with. Older games you couldn't change. Except for Sun and Moon, because they introduced the bottle caps. Bottle caps have made a return in this game, so you actually can change it. The thing it is, though, is hyper-training of Pokemon stats doesn't actually give it 6 full IVs that you can breed down. It gives it 6 IVs for stat-wise and leveling up, but it doesn't give it 6 IVs for breed-wise. So I learned that the hard way. So if you look at this Ponyta, it's decent, pretty good, decent, pretty good, decent. What you want is best. So, for example, I'll show you one of my 6 IV Pokemon. I have a 6 IV G-Max Center Scourge. And it says best all across the board. So what best does is best gives it an extra 31 IVs, or an extra 31 stat points in every single one of those stats, on top of its EVs and on top of what its nature is. So your natures... Certain natures do certain things. For example, an adamant nature Pokemon will increase attack and it'll lower, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's special attack. So an adamant nature Pokemon will increase attack and lower special attack. So for example, me, I'm the type of person when I start doing my competitive Pokemon, I start making things, I take off what's needed and what's not needed. So if I have a physical attacking Pokemon, I'm going to cut out the special attack because there's no point. So I'm going to give it a nature that increases something that I'm going to use more, for example, speed or attack, and lower special attack. So there's different natures you can do that, and I'll actually show y'all a great way to change natures after I explain the IVs. But the IVs are a little tricky. So the way you train and the way you change your IVs of Pokemon or hyper training them to give it that 6 IV value is there's bottle caps. Or that 31 IVs and that stat is there's bottle caps and golden bottle caps. So a golden bottle cap will maximize the full stat. So if it has no, it will hyper train the Pokemon and all of its stats to make it mimic having 31 IVs in every single one of your stats. So technically giving you a 6 IV Pokemon. A bottle cap is what I use the most. Is it just takes one stat, hyper trains the Pokemon in that stat, and gives it that effort value. So if you actually look at, for example, take my Mimikyu, for example. I caught it. Most of the easiest way to get a high IV Pokemon is G-Max raids. So if you're going and you're looking for something, not G-Max raid, Dynamax raids. So if you're looking for something, just go in the wild area, look for some dens. More than likely your Pokemon will be in the dens. If not, I'll have another video coming out soon to teach you how to cycle through dens to get the Pokemon you want. But for right now, most dens have the Pokemon you need, and if it doesn't, then you have to breed it. But for right now, for example, this Mimikyu, caught it out of a max raid battle. Had 4 IVs, an HP, attack, and special defense. I don't need special attack. It has a nature to where lower special attack increases speed. Speed was a pretty good, so I just went ahead, got it to level 100, hyper trained the speed. So now the hyper trained speed is like it has 31 in that max value, and the Pokemon's maxed out till its full potential. Best way to do it though is the only thing that sucks about bottle capping Pokemon is the Pokemon has to be level 100. Leveling up Pokemon is pretty easy in the game. All you have to really do is get experience candies. But some candies are important. Some people like having their candies. For example, I have 33 extra large candies, and the extra large candies they hand out the most effort values in the game. So, but what you want to do is after you get it to level 100, you want to go over to the battle tower. So the very top of Wimbledon, you want to walk in. On your right, there's going to be a guy. This guy right here. You want to talk to him, and he'll hyper train your Pokemon. Once again, like I said, if your Pokemon's level 100, you can talk to him. It won't work for anything else. It has to be level 100. But if you talk to him, you give him a bottle cap, you give him a golden bottle cap, he'll maximize your Pokemon stats like it has 6 IVs. So then you don't have to worry about finding another one. So then you can turn around. If the nature's not what it wants or what you desire. So for example, with this Rapidash, I want, let's say, attacking speed. So I want a physical attacking Rapidash that does like heavy damage. I mean, that's pretty simple and pretty thing to ask for. That's why you give it the AVs and the stats that you give. So what you want to do is you want to give it a nature that follows. So what your nature is going to do is your nature, while it's leveling up, is going to give it those extra stats in that nature. Cool thing about it is if you change the Pokemon's nature later on after leveling up, is what I'm going to do, you don't have to worry about it losing those stats. So at level 49 right now, it has a nature that hinders defense and hinders defense but increases special defense. When you change it and you put a candy on there and you give them the certain candy that you want them to have, it's going to completely flip-flop the stats like it had that nature the whole entire time. So it's nothing really lost. Honestly, to tell you the truth, your easiest method would be start off by finding the Pokemon with the IVs, get his nature right, and then do the effort values. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, IVs are the most time-consuming thing on the game, to be honest with you. Like, they take effort, well, ironically, they take effort to get. Because without those IVs, I mean, a Pokemon is just kind of just bland. So, just like that, with the candies that I got, I've gotten this Rapidash up to level 100. That easy, just depending on the candies that you have. Do max raid battles with your friends. Make sure they're 5 stars. You get those extra large candies. So you want to go to your box. Go to the Rapidash at level 100. I'm just going to give it a golden bottle cap. What it's going to do, he's going to hyper train all the stats. Then when you look at him, level 100, stats actually increased itself. Go over to your box. It says completely hyper trained and it says amazing stats. So it has the same exact stats as a Pokemon that would have 6 to 5 IVs. So that's pretty cool. This game, honestly, Nintendo made it easier as ever to do whatever you want. I would show you, like I said, and then nature-wise, I make a pretty bulky. I like pretty bulky Pokemon. So my stats kind of arrange depending on how. I have a lot of mints, but they're just extra mints that I don't use. For this Rapidash, like I said, you always want to give it something that's going to increase it. So if I had it, more than likely I would probably give it an Adamant Nature Mint. So your Adamant Nature Mint's going to increase attack and lower its special attack. It's going to change it out. It's going to make it heavy hitter because if you're not going to use it for your special attack, you're just going to use it for more physical stuff. Then what's the point? Best thing for you to do, and I'm going to let you know this now, is basically put in a Pokemon that you want to make competitive. Go to database and put database at the end of it. Google it. The first thing that comes up should be an overview of the Pokemon and where its base and where its best stats are at. What you want to do is you want to focus on those stats and you want to maximize those stats out to make the Pokemon as good as you can. At the end of the day, the moveset's kind of just however you feel like you want to use. This Galarian Rapidash, more than likely, I'm going to put high horsepower because it's a physical attacking ground type move. Psycho Cut, as you've seen, I taught it. It's a physical type psychic type move. There's some other ones out there that'll probably teach it, like Throat Chop, because Throat Chop can cover ghosts. It's not really a big weakness. It has a weakness to ghosts, but it's not that big. And then you want to put something that's actually going to sit there and cover it. Most Pokemon work different, but I just showed y'all Galarian Rapidash because I had Rainbow Dash sitting in my box for a while and I needed to do something with it. But thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Remember, like, subscribe, comment, let me know how you feel. And at the end of the day, stay black. Peace.